sometimes understanding the why really helps us. And there's another cliche. This episode's full of cliches. I'm sorry about that, but they're true cliches. But this is why systems are so important. Is it stops you making the same decision 1,000 times. If I have a system of how to pack an order, I know that I print a packing sheet. I know I tick off the items as they go in a box. I know I use the same size box. I know every order gets a free sticker. I know every order gets bubble wrap inside. I know every order gets 4 pieces of tape around the address and 2 on the side. Then I don't make that decision every time it's presented to me for every customer and every order. Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 156, planning your 2026 Shopify successes and why structure beats hustle. The core message of this episode is you don't need to do more. Potentially, you probably just need some better structure. This episode is a bit of a mindset episode. This is just a bit of a chatty episode. I have 5 points to share with you. They're not They're not groundbreaking. They're mostly common sense. They're things that can just be good for us to hear at the start of a new year as business owners, or as those of us who are side hustling, starting a Shopify store, maybe years into your small business that might be your big business. These things are common sense, but can be good to remind ourselves of at the start of a new year to really help us get our mindset in the game and to set ourselves up for success this year. So I want to share 5 things with you. Like I said, they're not groundbreaking. They're not my amazing ideas. They're things you will have heard before, which is often the way with truths, isn't it? And things that we know are common sense. They're common sense for a reason. And sometimes they're just good to be reminded of them and to encourage ourselves to let's get moving this year and get our head in the game, so to speak. The first one is, for this year, to set yourself up for success for 2026 as a business owner, is to clear the clutter. Stop running your store and your small business reactively. And that's a big ask. Even just saying that, depending on your time commitments, careers, family and things, even depending on your personality, your energy levels, your health, that can even just be a big ask to stop running your Shopify store reactively. So I understand that's a bigger thing to unpack than just no worries, Rachel, tick that off, I've done it. But it's true, hey, we know that will set us up for success this year if we can clear the clutter mentally and emotionally, physically. I've sort of rearranged my garage, which is the overflow of my study and my studio. My studio is a room in our home. It's my office and my store for my online store. I've rearranged that, cleaned it out, and the overflow of that, which is my garage, has been rearranged and cleaned out. And it feels amazing. I feel like I'm off to a good start for 2026. So that sort of thing, clear the clutter, write out what's going on, what you need to do, what you'd like to be doing this year. Get it on paper, get it typed out somewhere that you can be objective about it and decide what you want to be doing this year, what you don't want to be doing this year. And give yourself permission to just get rid of the things that you know you should be doing, but you're just not going to for whatever reason. The reason is completely arbitrary and up to you. It's none of my business what your reasons are. I've got my own reasons as well. One of them, for instance, is I should be on TikTok Live. I'm not. And I'm already in thinking about it. I regret maybe not doing that this year, but I just have spent a lot of last year regretting not doing it. That even just that energy suck. I don't need it, and you don't need it either. So I'm not doing it this year. I will revisit the idea in 2027. Give yourself permission to get it off your plate and just move on with the next thing you will be doing. You will decide you need to do and that you will commit to, that will move your business forward. So let's clear the clutter, do a brain dump if you need to, sort your tasks into different categories or groups, or delegate them out, get a project manager or someone in to subcontract the work out, which is another point I've got coming up. But basically just kind of try and be proactive with your business this year instead of reactive. For instance, what did you do for Black Friday 2025? Because if you did something or didn't do something, how long in advance did you plan for it? This is not calling anybody out at all. I started planning for Black Friday in September, which I thought was early enough. and probably not, because I know other e-commerce store owners, especially part of the course I'm doing at the moment, had started planning theirs in July last year. So I would like to see my revenue quadruple in 2026 off of 2025. In 2025, it was 3 times what it was in 2024, and I want to see that increase again. Well, then I want to be planning for that far earlier. So that's something I could just get written down, put it on a calendar and know that it's going to come up at some point, and then give myself permission to kind of not think about it. Like, get the clutter out of my head, stop worrying about what's taking up space in my brain, I suppose. It's sort of just in the background noise. If I decide I want to do that, Black Friday is important to me, I'll put it in my diary for July to think about it, and I give myself permission to now not think about it at all until July. I guess that's sort of what I'm saying with that point. These points I'm saying, and now I'm talking about this one, are going to sort of meld together quite a bit, I think. So they're probably going to run sort of along into one giant mindset type episode, I think. Because number 2 is to set actionable goals, which that one I just told you was to put something on your calendar for Black Friday and when you want to start planning for it. So set actionable goals and set them based on, what's the word I'm looking for? Look, 12 vague goals are not as good as one clear goal, basically. So you can don't make a list of the thing, everything you've ever wanted to do in your business, that you ever want to do in your career and your future and your side hustle. Make a list or some goals or some very specific goals that are maybe 1 or 4. I struggle with goal setting in general. I'm not a goal setter, but I do like to focus on something. I like a focus point. I feel really comfortable with my personality, the way I work, that I like to have a focus point as opposed to an actual goal. So saying I want my revenue to be up 4 times for Black Friday this year on last year is a pretty specific goal. But last year, my goal was really just to at least increase my revenue by a lot, which is a really loose goal because I kind of hedging my bets. But I don't know if that's a good thing. Now I'm saying that. I'll work on that this year. But you might be a real goal setter. You might love goals. And then if you do, step it out into steps. Make action items for it. But don't do 12. I just don't know that 12 is going to serve you for the year. And you may find it's just hard to keep yourself on track with that, and you might find you get behind on one, but then what do you do next month? If you have 12 goals for 2026 and you get a bit delayed because March, for some reason, something happens, somebody in your family is sick, you have an unexpected work trip, you get busy at work and you're doing extra shifts, or you've got a sick toddler and then that gastro goes through your house and you haven't got the same hours in the evening you'd hope to have, all the things that can happen, then you'll find then you're already on the back foot for the next month. And then you start to feel that you're not winning and that you're losing. We have to set ourselves up to win. We are the cheer squad for ourselves. Like, I cheer you on and I have to cheer myself on. We are the people who have to pep us up as small business owners, because not many other people in our world will do it for us. And for most of you, no one else in the world is going to do it. In your world is going to do it for you. I have 2 people now in my world who pep me up and encourage me in my small business. For the last 4 years, I have had 1 person do that. And before that, when I was sort of deciding if I wanted to start a business or not, and I was fluffing about on the edges, there was nobody. Most people were telling me really not to do it and why I shouldn't do it. That's a bit of a backstory. Is that even relevant to this episode? I told you it was going to be a bit of a chatty sort of episode. What's my point? My point is, you need to be your own cheerleader, and I'm cheering you on, and I'm encouraging you that if you set goals for this year, just set less goals than what you might be inclined to do in the headiness of January, in New Year's resolution mode, where you might feel inclined and motivated to set 12 goals. Just be kinder to yourself. Set yourself 4 really meaty goals and focus on them maybe in each quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That's what I'm planning to do for this year. And make them really specific though. So not just that I want to be on TikTok, or I want more customers, or I want to start ads, but something more specific. Do you want to increase your returning customer rate? Do you want to increase your AOV? Do you want to start running Meta Ads profitably and seeing new customers come in every day from Meta Ads? Do you want to get your email list growing? Do you want to see some of your revenue come through automatically from email without even having to think about it or work hard for it. But be specific with what goal you want for this year, or what goals, plural, and then go about setting some sort of plan towards that, or some actionable steps, and like set yourself up for success and celebrate along the way. Please celebrate along the way. I've started celebrating small wins myself, and I've started sometimes doing it verbally as well. So I onboarded a new client this week, and I did a massive amount of work for them on one particular day, and I was really pleased with how well it came together. And I just said to myself, good work, Rachel, well done, you're so good at this is great, like what a productive day. And I wonder if I'll edit that bit out. Is that a bit strange? I don't think it's strange. I think a lot of us probably do talk to ourselves on occasion. I don't do it all the time, but I'm trying to do it when I do something really well, because I can't take this work to my boss and show them the KPI that I've smashed, and you probably can't either. So celebrate it for yourself. Do something special, or whatever, however you like to celebrate yourself when you achieve something, and do that often this year, because that will help with your energy and your mindset to know that you're winning more than not. And that's important. Hey, to know that you're winning more than not winning is really important, because if our mindset starts to suffer, and we all have bad days, like I'm not saying we don't have bad days, and I'm not saying I don't have the day where I want to crawl under the bed and pull the blinds down and decide to give the business away. I'm not saying I don't have those days either, but you don't want to be stuck in that rut for a long period of time. You want to be able to like soothe and get out of it and move on from it, and get yourself out of that sort of loop if you find yourself stuck there. So celebrate the small wins that you have along the way. I'm sure something great happened in your e-commerce store in December or November. Then stop and do a bit of a celebration for yourself about it, whatever that looks like, and like mark that in the sand, like a line in the sand, or a flag in the sand, to say, well done, congratulations, good on you for achieving that, because some of your competitors did not. Remember, every one of these things that we master and we accomplish and get on top of that grows our business, that we focus on, moves the needle measurably in our business, is another hurdle that somebody has stopped at and is out of the race. And I say race, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's every one of those things that you choose to accomplish, every problem you choose to solve, every problem I choose to solve is a problem that a competitor, I never know who they are. You don't either. I mean, somebody else who's maybe got a small business or a side hustle that's a couple of years in, that's starting out. They've decided to call it quits. They haven't been able to solve the problem. They've decided not to for whatever reason, and they've drawn a line in the sand and they've stopped. You continue to keep going and keep building and growing and seeing success for you and your family, and financial success for you and your family. That's important. What's my point? Let me check what my point even is. What's the very next step in your marketing journey in growing your e-commerce store and finding new customers and converting them profitably? I encourage you to reach out to me for some one-on-one support. If you found your ads haven't worked in the past, top reasons I have seen with my own clients in why their ads stop working is a lack of creative diversity in the account, of exclusions and proper targeting, really helping Meta push to prospective users. And then ads that start to fatigue and circle the drain, that's when you find your costs start to skyrocket and you wonder what is going wrong in your account. When you run ads, your email marketing does better. When you do email marketing, it supports the money you are spending in advertising on Meta by ensuring that customers come back again and again, offsetting the cost you paid to Meta to get that customer for the first time. So there's no like crazy long retainer you have to sign up with me for. We can just work together for 1 month, and then you can decide if you want to continue working further or take back the reins and continue to DIY your marketing solution. And why reach out to me for support? Well, for my own e-commerce store, yes, I'm still running my own e-commerce store. And in 2025, my revenue is up 100%. I've doubled my revenue so far based off of 2024. The email marketing revenue I've had this year so far is 80% higher than it was for 2024. So I'm in a perfect position to support you in growing in your next steps. and let's really build out a robust, healthy campaign strategy that's going to see you succeeding long term. I encourage you to reach out to me. You can book a discovery call straight in my calendar. We can chat for 20 minutes about your business and the immediate next step you need to succeed in Meta Ads or in your email marketing. You can find me at Aussie Online Growing on Shopify.com.au. You can reach out to me just by booking a discovery call straight in my calendar. Let's chat for 20 minutes on Zoom and see how I can support you in winning to find new customers to grow your e-commerce store here in Australia next. Back to the episode. Next one is master your calendar. Let's put some time blocking aside. I'm a planner. I have my planner. I love my planner, but I know my personality as well. I'm a bit on the fence. I like to rebel against it too. I don't like to hold myself to too much of a structure because I fight it. So go with your personality. If you're not a type A or a type B, or you're a bit in between, or you are a type A or a type B, there's other ones, isn't there? Is that all there is? A type A or type B? However you function in the world, and you know yourself probably better than anybody. And if you feel like you don't, ask somebody to point out your blind spots. They quickly will. Then work with yourself and your energy levels and set yourself up for success. I am a planner. I love my planner, but I like the flexibility of it. I don't plan out sort of per hour, but I like blocks of time. I like focus points for different days. I've talked before on podcast episodes that I have Tuesdays my content creation day, which I'm going to potentially swap out this year. I'm not sure. The last half of 2025, I struggled to keep Tuesday as just content creation day, and other things started to creep in. It became lots of other things too. And we need to protect the time. When you sit down and do plans like this, there's an element of flexibility, of course, where you need to go with the flow a bit, with depending what comes up day to day in your business and your work and your family and your health. But at the same time, when you make these decisions and intentions and set aside, right, today's content creation day, tomorrow's email marketing day. I don't mean the whole day. I mean, obviously part of the day, but it's a focus point for the day. And then the next day is building some new ads in Meta. The next day is forecasting stock and doing some orders of stock and planning out my stock. The next day is what promotion do I have coming up? What sale am I going to do next? When you have those focuses, you know full well why they're important. You've put the time aside, and whatever that list looks like for you is important for you in your business to grow to the next level. You need to protect that energy and that time, and protect it in as much capacity as you can. If it's to protect it for an hour of that day, then do that, or 4 hours of the day. But I guess be true to yourself and support yourself. Don't sabotage yourself, and make the calendar work for you. Make your diary work for you, your reminders on your phone work for you. Be flexible, of course, be flexible. And just because you don't accomplish one thing doesn't mean you're a failure at everything. Please don't be black and white with it. Just move on to the next thing and give yourself a bit of grace and move to the next task, because there's something else waiting there to accomplish and to do that's going to make your business succeed in 2026. And then rest. That's one too. I've got that written in red. Then rest. That's probably my favorite thing. Is it my favorite thing? Or it is probably one of my most favorite things about planning. It genuinely is. Now I'm thinking and reflecting on it. One of my favorite things about planning and having my journal, my bullet journal, and my Trello boards, and a bit of a focus for a few, different months of the year. One of my favorite things is the ability for me to rest outside of that. I value rest really highly. And that might be not controversial to say, but look, we live in a bit of a hustle culture, and it's in Australia, I think, especially with tall poppy syndrome, we can be a bit martyrs. We can be martyrs to how busy our lives are. And I'm definitely not a martyr to how busy my life is. And I'm not going to go into a list of how busy my life is compared to anyone else. That's just it's completely irrelevant. That's not the point. That's like the opposite side of what the important part of this point is. But my point is, when you work hard, you can rest hard. When you spend time working on things in your business that you know are valuable, and busy work is busy work, we all need to do it. Like I'm doing busy work like you are, that we don't really want to do, but we just have to do. But when we do work in our business that's truly valuable, updating a flow that's underperforming in Klaviyo, creating a new pop-up offer, making some content, a couple of videos and a couple of images ready to launch some new ads, analyzing the ads we've got running and seeing an opportunity to scale them and increasing the budget, finding a new packaging supplier that saves us, 30% on what we were paying last year. When we do work in our business that's truly valuable, I think, and I find for myself personally, I can truly rest after that, because yes, there's always a list of things to do, but I can sort of draw a line in the sand and be happy that I accomplished something valuable and just shut off and take a break. Maybe that's the wrong thing to say, but I think it's a really important skill to learn if you can't do that, because I think it'll serve you long term with your mindset around building a business and staying not just not motivated, but staying consistent with what's important, celebrating each step along the way, and truly being able to enjoy the journey. Like that is cliche, but 100% true. It is all about the journey. And for us in small business, it is. I'm sure it is for you as well, because if you are doing this as a side hustle, especially, you've just started this because you really wanted to. It's not your job. No one's paid you to do it. You really want to do it. So more than ever, that is such an important part of who you are. So accomplish something valuable. And when you do, stop and take a break from it. I just think that's really important. So next one is create systems. Systems is a big word, but basically SOPs, templates, automations, or delegate some work out. Hence, like to me, for Meta or Klaviyo, or I have a couple of bookmarks saved for podcast editors I need to reach out to, because I want to get someone to help me editing this podcast in 2026. I've spent the morning, we're away on holiday, I've spent the morning writing 4 episodes and I'm now recording a couple. I want to record all 4, but I'm having dramas here with my phone internet here in the Barossa Valley, so I can't probably get all 4 recorded. But then the work off the back of that is to edit. Oh my goodness, edit them all and get them like post-produced and scheduled. So I need somebody to help me with that this year. That's one of the things I've sort of got on my list of creating systems. The other thing I love about systems, and like I said, I do rebel against them a little bit. I'm not a strictly type A person whatsoever. So please don't dismiss everything I'm going to say because you're not a type A person if you're not. If you are, this is your wheelhouse. If you are, you're probably somebody who could help me with producing my podcast after. That's probably what you do. That's your skills. That's perfect. You're just the person I need to speak to. But let's say you're not a type A person. The reason I love systems is this. Sometimes understanding the why really helps us. And there's another cliche. This episode's full of cliches. I'm sorry about that, but they're true cliches. But this is why systems are so important. Is it stops you making the same decision 1,000 times. If I have a system of how to pack an order, I know that I print a packing sheet. I know I tick off the items as they go in a box. I know I use the same size box. I know every order gets a free sticker. I know every order gets bubble wrap inside. I know every order gets 4 pieces of tape around the address and 2 on the side. Then I don't make that decision every time it's presented to me for every customer and every order. That's why systems can be powerful. They can help you be far more efficient because you're not making decisions about the same thing you made a decision about yesterday, the day before, or 5 minutes ago. You'd follow the process. You follow the SOP. You have software that does it. You have an automation set up. You have a staff member or someone you subcontract to that looks after that body of work so that you aren't making those decisions constantly, which then obviously frees you up for other things. One thing last year, which is was an unexpected result in my own e-commerce store, is last year I had a 3-month window where my revenue doubled. It may have doubled after that, based off of the year before too. I haven't actually gone to look. But it's because I had somebody start to help me pack orders, which is my mum. So she started to help pack orders for my e-commerce store. And I was so happy to ask her and that she said yes, because for the previous few months, which I have shared on an episode before, I found that some days when lots of orders came through, I actually got really anxious and didn't want any more orders to come through. And I recognizing that thought in my brain was like a giant alarm bell going off, like, Rachel, what are you doing? What do you mean you don't want more orders to come through that day because you've already got enough to pack? That's like you might as well close up shop. That sort of a feeling I needed to change. And it's perfectly within my control to change it. And it's probably perfectly within your control to change whatever it is that's kind of coming up for you that's becoming an issue or a struggle or a blockage in your own business growth. So for me, it was getting a busy day and seeing too many orders come in, because it meant I had a lot of orders to pack the next day that would take me all day or a significant part of the day. And I don't like to pack orders. I like to do a couple of them every now and again, but I don't want to spend the day doing them. I don't want to feel like I work in a fulfillment warehouse. That's for me, my own business. That's not what I want to do long term. And I've done it for 4 years. Anyway, the end of the story, I asked my mum to help me. She said yes. I found over the following 3 months, just because she was coming to help and she took probably 75% of that mental load and the physical load, so we were doing it together, that I was able to double the revenue of my e-commerce store, because I was focusing now on other things that grew my business instead of like only letting enough orders come through that I could manage myself. I'm sure that makes sense. I just don't know if that's a bit off topic, but what I'm saying is, if you create systems, for me, that's why I love systems, is because I feel like it stops you having to make the decision of the same thing again and again and again and again. Like, make the decision once and move on. Make the decision once, create a system, a template, a software, an SOP. Make the decision and then move on from it. That's sort of what I'm saying about that. The last one is, and I sort of already have shared about it, like I said, this is kind of all mixed together, about momentum beating motivation. So celebrate small wins and don't always look for motivation to get you over the line, but get into a bit of a rhythm of momentum. And this really does need to work with you and your personality and your even leadership style. You're the CEO, like you are the leader. It's your business. So your leadership style needs to work with that so that you can set yourself up for success. If you like to put things in your phone or your calendar, and you know if you have an appointment there to create some content for social media, you will do it, then do that. That doesn't work for me because I'll just ignore the appointment. I know I put it there so I can delete it. I'm like, I'm the boss. I just won't do it. That's sort of what goes through my head. So I have other ways of helping me spend time on what I know is valuable and important to grow my business, so that then I can rest after. I can rest after knowing that those things are taken care of, because at the start we cleared the clutter on what we wanted for our business this year. So that's why I can rest and ignore any niggling thoughts in my head about what I could be doing, should be doing, or haven't done that I should be doing next, because of the shiny object syndrome, and there's every guru out there with all these ideas and things to do. I can ignore those things and genuinely rest and unwind, because at the start, I set out what was important and I cleared the clutter, and I decided to work with myself and my personality type and move forward, supporting myself and setting myself up to win for 2026. And I want you to do that too. So I wanted to quickly touch on, I did talk about Black Friday a bit, didn't I? Yeah, and I guess even just the point before about systems is similar. Like, for me, Black Friday 2026 is going to be a goal. I want to focus on that for at least a quarter of the year and potentially more. So it's in my diary, it's on my wall in my special promo calendar, which will be another episode. So I know when I need to first start paying attention to that project and start systematically, or not systematically, but start chipping away at it and moving that project along. And all that happens around, obviously, the usual tasks of running your business, which is why if you find yourself at the place where you need support with things, then reach out for support. No big business you see out there in the world is a solo trader, and it doesn't happen. It does not happen for a reason, because big businesses and successful, thriving, healthy businesses are built with teams. So if you need somebody else on your team, find that person on your team, and that will be a lot of work, and be okay with the fact it will be a lot of work, but it doesn't mean it's not worth pursuing or looking into this year. Because what's the saying go, or the meme? Because, December 2026, you will thank you for doing that work now. If I think about December 2026 Rachel, she will thank January 2026 Rachel for finding someone to post-produce the podcast and for getting systems and promotions and offers in place to have the biggest Black Friday I've ever had. Last Friday was the biggest Black Friday I've ever had, but I want to 4x it this year. So I know December 2026 me will thank me now, January 2026 me, if I look into those things and spend some time like really focusing on them in the next couple of months. And I know that you will too. So I encourage you to do some of that work now and really let's just get in the game. Hey, like we are here, we are in the e-commerce game, we are building a business and you build it the way you want it. Success looks like however you want it to look. It's your business and you are in charge. You are the CEO and you are the captain of your ship. I like saying that. You are the captain of your ship. It goes where you want it to go and it goes where you are paying attention. If you're at the helm, the wheel, that's right. If you're at the helm and you are looking off on an angle, that's where you're going. Like pay attention to where you want to be and let's just focus on that and like ignore the rest and block it out as white noise, hey? Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this was helpful or beneficial to you in some way. Share this episode with somebody who's thinking about side hustling, starting a small e-commerce Shopify store, or someone who's looking at starting a small business, or someone you know in a small business world who's really struggling. They may benefit from it. I hope you did too. And I'll see you next time. Keep learning.